the same time, the Treasury Secretary, whose largest holding is gold, says we're going to remonetize the liquid assets of the U.S. government. And Judy Shelton says, let's issue treasuries backed and redeemable by gold. Could this be maybe a little bit more? Yeah, that was that I did that in. That's mine. Yeah, a little bit more than just the Trump tariffs. I don't know. You tell me. And I think this is what I'm getting at. Now, I'm not saying they're going to remonetize it to 142,000, but every $4,000 increase in the price of gold gives the Treasury general account free and clear $1 trillion. And Trump, all he would need to do is to tell Jerome Powell to revalue gold. Doesn't even need congressional approval. And where is gold held on every central bank balance sheet? You can't make it up. The gold revaluation account. That is the name of it. On every central bank balance sheet, it's held in the gold revaluation account. Senator Loomis from Wyoming, let's revalue gold to fund the strategic Bitcoin account. The head of the Dutch National Bank, members of the Bundesbank, let's revalue gold to offset our liabilities. I'm not saying they're going to do this, but I will tell you, in all of my career, I've never seen anything like this. And it would not surprise me if they're using the threats of tariffs to bring it all home instead of outright telling the world what they want to do, and that is to revalue gold, to back it to the Treasury, to remonetize that side of the balance sheet, and to reestablish confidence. I mean, since November, the United States has become a net importer of gold instead of a net exporter. We've imported, just from London alone, north of 13 million ounces of gold, and we've seen the largest delivery ever in the history of the COMEX market for the February contract of just under 6 million ounces of gold, surpassing the next largest, which was during the pandemic in 2020, QE forever, by about 1.2 million ounces of gold. Wow. I mean, so you're talking massive deliveries. The next largest in the history of the COMEX was 4.8 million, or somewhere around that number, 4.7. So this is huge. We're seeing JP Morgan deposit $4 billion worth of gold into the COMEX in February.
Even if you were to look at China's official central bank gold purchase stats, and we all know that they're buying gold without reporting it, but even if you look at their official stats, they started buying gold again for the last 3 months. So exactly the same time that Trump gets in and this all starts happening, you've got a double whammy. You've got everybody effectively wants the gold. Everybody in America wants the gold. You can't get hold of it unless you want to pay a really high price. And that's what also presumably is driving the spot price up more and more, as these premiums move into the real-time price.
I agree with that completely, Jason. The PBOC reported 600 tons accumulated in 2024. There are articles saying that they've been buying 10 times as much as they report. If the People's Liberation Army, the PLA, buys it, they don't report it. We've talked about how they've been flying all around Latin America buying the doré and concentrate right from the miners, which are crudely refined bars and a sludge byproduct, sending it home and refining it. That's disintermediated from the marketplace completely and totally. None of that's reported to the IMF, or when they buy it through the PLA, or if they buy it and it's under 995 pure, they're not reporting it. And at the same time, as you mentioned about all the gold they're buying and this and that, they just opened up something called the National Financial Regulatory Administration. The NFRA launched a pilot program allowing insurance funds to invest in gold. China's $4.3 trillion insurance industry could unlock $43 billion in gold investments. And so they're telling the insurance companies, maybe having all your money in treasuries and these kinds of things isn't the best idea. Let's put it into gold as well. You're right. We're seeing a massive rush to gold.
If they are demanding their gold, like if they do an actual audit, like you're saying, like a full audit, not just a fake, here, let's get a video through some of these vaults and show that we have gold. But if they do a real audit and then there isn't the gold that they actually say is there, what happens to all these countries who start demanding their gold and they don't have it? Like, what does that do to the silver price or the market or the gold market?
I mean, and gold and silver are correlated 90%, Ivan. I mean, throughout all of history, maybe not in perfect symmetry. As one goes, so too will the other. But over the last 3-4 years, over 40 banks have silently repatriated their gold from both the New York Fed and the Bank of England. And let's understand, why has it been there? Well, forever, the Bank of England would give direct access to trading on the LBMA, which is a 140-year-old exchange. And the COMEX in 73, the metal would be housed typically in the New York Fed. You have Western institutions, Western rule of law, and they would have direct access to trade their metal on COMEX and the LBMA. Well, all of these countries are saying, no, we're going to have our metal back, please. Like India, who brought back over 100 metric tons they've had at the Bank of England since 1991, amongst many others.
Availability start to slowly wane, slowly. Because for the last year, it's been the opposite of that. Premiums have been falling, availability has been increasing. Our inventory was never been so deep, but it's beginning to change. And we've seen some very large orders lately. We sold 11,000 ounces, we and you, of numismatic coins. And I will say to all of the people who took advantage of that, I have never seen a better opportunity. And you look at any of the other retailers out there, those of you that got the 63s and 4s and stuff, you'll see exactly what I mean. The prices are way higher than what you paid. And we sold it in a matter of days. So there are people who are beginning to understand what's happening in a very significant way. But I would argue, and give a name to this podcast, the big money is moving from risk on to risk off. At the same time, the public is deeply entrenched in the risk on trade. That, my friend, is something that I would not want to be part of because, as we've said before, the little man always is the last to learn.